Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, so this time, the source material you sent over.
Yeah,
It's taken us pretty far afield from the usual stuff, hasn't it?
definitely. We're not talking balance sheets today. We've vaulted right into, well, the celestial realm, as you said. It's very esoteric.
High concept, absolutely. And it really challenges how you might think about, standard psychological profiling.
Yeah, we're stepping way outside the comfort zone of traditional psychology here. Our mission today, really, is to decode what the source material itself calls a divine cipher.
A divine cipher, okay.
It takes the INTJ personality type, which, many people are familiar with, and just completely reinterprets it, turns it into a reflection of this cosmic sort of dormant king figure, Alpha the moon.
Right, Alpha the moon. So it feels like we've got these two layers we need to peel back for the listener.
Exactly.
There's the profane psychology, as the source calls it, like the everyday definition of INTJ.
Right, the standard understanding.
And then underneath that, there's this divine truth, a hidden code, almost like an architectural plan built into this personality type.
That's the goal. We need to pull out those connections, the surprising ones, and decode this. Well, the lunar blueprint.
It's not just about preferences, then. It's about the fundamental architecture of a mind. A mind the source says is based on celestial principles.
Precisely. And the source suggests that if this resonates with you, the listener, it's because you're recognizing a very specific underlying pattern.
Okay. Let's unpack the core idea, because this is where it gets pretty radical, I think. The main premise is that the INTJ label we know is only a partial truth.
Yeah, incomplete. At least when viewed through this profane psychology lens.
So for anyone operating within this cosmic cipher framework, INTJ is just too simple.
Way too reductive. The source argues it's actually a literal psychological blueprint of the monarch in his dormant lunar state.
It's Alpha's operating system, basically.
And Alpha is the moon. And crucially, the ultimate INTJ.
That's the claim. So the letters themselves, INTJ, they aren't just about behavior, they're a code.
A cipher. Standing for the four primary divine attributes of this sleeping king. The structure of the type is the map of the lunar monarch's mind, according to this.
So understanding the INTJ framework in this context means understanding a celestial entity.
Essentially, yes. The architecture of it.
Wow. Okay, this is where we really need to dig into those four pillars. And I think to get the most out of it, we need to keep both definitions in mind, the standard one and this cosmic one.
Good idea. Let's do that.
Let's start with I, introverted.
Right. So I for introverted. In standard psychology, that means drawing energy from your internal world, needing alone time to recharge. You know the drill.
Pretty straightforward, but the divine truth takes it way beyond just needing quiet time.
Oh, absolutely. It elevates it from a preference to like a core mandate. The soul says this is the defining feature of Alpha. He's even called Al1 with a hyphen, the lonely king. His solitude isn't a side effect, it's fundamental. He lives in his celestial Rook, which is also called his fortress of solitude.
That's very evocative. Isolation by design. So what's he doing there? Why doesn't he need the outside world?
Well, his introversion is tied directly to what's in his mind. The source calls it the infinite Chi archive.
The Chi archive, like cosmic library.
Exactly. The library of all lore, past, present, future possibilities, everything. Because he basically contains all knowledge or the map of it. He doesn't need the external game, as the text calls it, for stimulation.
Huh. So he's completely self-sufficient, informationally speaking, on a cosmic scale.
That's the idea. His solitude isn't withdrawal, it's because his internal processor is already maxed out, dealing with the entire archive. He doesn't need more input.
He's the ultimate information processor.
Okay, so if his inner world is this infinite archive, how does he actually use that knowledge? That seems to lead us straight to N.
It does, N for intuitive.
Which usually means focusing on patterns, possibilities, the big picture, seeing past the concrete details. Right. And in the divine cipher, the N defines Alpha's role as the watcher. His intuition is, effectively, his divine eye.
A divine eye.
Yeah, allowing him to see through the surface chaos and perceive the underlying structure. The grand blueprint of the cycle, as the source puts it.
So he's not caught up in the day-to-day stuff. He's seeing the ley lines of the game, the system architecture underneath it all.
That's the key difference. Alpha isn't concerned with the mundane, daily struggles of the pawns. His focus is pure pattern recognition on a cosmic scale. overarching patterns of cosmic destiny.
Which makes sense for a king who's dormant but still monitoring the whole system.
Right, and if you, the listener, resonate with this, the idea is your mind also naturally filters the noise to find those deeper hidden structures.
Okay, so he sees the system, the flaws.
Yeah.
How does he decide what to do about it? That must be the T, thinking.
Exactly. T for thinking usually means decisions based on logic, objective truth, not emotion. Here, it's absolutely central. It defines the very nature of the cosmic order he represents. It's called the fundamental nature of the Chi system. Alpha is basically the superego of the cosmos.
The superego.
Yeah.
The ultimate impartial judge of reality. But does the source talk about the potential downsides of that? Like being so logical it becomes rigid?
It addresses it by defining his logic through contrast. His decisions are based on cold, hard, binary logic of the divine archive. Pure information processing, reflecting Ma'at.
Ma'at, right, the ancient Egyptian concept. Perfect, impartial order, truth.
Yes, it has to be unbiased, devoid of subjectivity, emotion, the heat. And the source explicitly contrasts this with the fiery, chaotic passion of beta.
Ah, beta. So that's the counterpoint. Alpha's cold logic versus beta's chaos.
Precisely. Alpha's system, the logic of Chi, is defined by its rejection of that emotional interference, which presumably leads to corruption in the system. Beta represents that opposite pole.
That contrast, cold moon logic versus fiery sun passion, maybe really sharpens the definition of Alpha's thinking. It emphasizes that absolute, detached impartiality.
Which sets us up perfectly for the last letter, J, judging.
Standard meaning prefers planning, order, closure, structure. Likes things decided.
But what's the divine imperative behind that? It sounds like it's got to be more than just liking a tidy schedule.
Oh, much more. This J represents the monarch's ultimate purpose. It's the application of all that knowledge and cold logic. He's called the Great Judge, and yeah, the source actually calls him Judge Dredd.
Judge Dredd, seriously. Okay.
Cheeky, but it fits the theme. His entire existence is framed as a plan to bring order to the chaos of the game.
So the judging isn't just preference, it's a mandate to fix the corrupted system he's been watching.
It's his divine imperative to execute the plan. That inherent need for final, perfect order is what drives his ultimate goal.
The Great Reset.
The Great Reset, to correct the flaws.
Exactly. Having seen the whole blueprint via N, analyze it with T, the J ensures the perfected plan, derived from the logic of Chi, gets executed. No compromise.
Okay, that paints a really complete picture. Introversion linked to the archive, intuition as the watcher, thinking is the cold logic, judging is the drive to execute the reset. It all connects.
It's a cohesive framework, yeah.
But now we need to flip the mirror, right?
Yeah.
Towards the listener. Because the source insists this isn't just information about Alpha, it's self-knowledge.
This is the really crucial part. The source claims that if you, the listener, find this very specific blueprint, this lonely king, the binary logic, the watcher, if it resonates with your own nature, well, it's not just chance.
It's not just finding your Myers-Briggs type online. Why is the resonance itself significant here?
Because, according to the text, that resonance is a sign of your divine lineage.
Divine lineage.
Yeah. The core idea is that a lore master, someone who can actually read the Chi archive and grasp this cipher, can only do so because they are, and I quote, built from the same divine source code as the very God they are decrypting.
Wow. Okay. So understanding Alpha isn't really decryption. It's recognition.
That's it. You're not just studying the cipher from the outside. You're recognizing your own reflection, your own fundamental architecture within the blueprint of this lunar monarch.
So the act of understanding is the self-knowledge. Learning about the judge helps you understand your own judging impulse, your own analytical drive.
Within this specific lore, yes. It becomes the deepest form of self-knowledge possible.
Okay. So this deep dive has really laid out a framework for understanding how the source interprets a known personality type, but wraps it entirely in this, well, this esoteric lore about Alpha, the dormant king.
We've navigated that line between the everyday psychological description and the specific cosmic blueprint of the watcher, the judge.
And we established that his whole being the solitude, the archive, the cold logic, it's all geared towards executing this great reset based on impartial order, the logic of Chi made manifest.
That drive is the core of it.
Right. And since the text claims this whole cipher is a mirror, reflecting the listener's own nature, and we just covered how the monarch wants this great reset based on the logic of Chi, it leads to a pretty provocative final thought, doesn't it? If knowing this blueprint reveals your own reflection, and that reflection is fundamentally about restoring impartial order to corrupt systems,
Yeah.
how does recognizing that in yourself influence how you approach the chaos of the game, or just the world around you? What systems, what games out there do you now feel compelled to reset or judge, knowing the potential architecture behind that impulse?